Welcome to the Frugalpreneur podcast. I am your host, Sarah St. John, and my guest today is the CEO of 360 Sales Consulting, a company helping businesses excel in sales and dramatically increase their bottom line. Their proprietary sales system has been recognized as a game changer and is in demand by companies of all sizes throughout the United States. Welcome to the show, Ben Brown, or is it Benjamin Brown?
Whatever. Just don't
Either
call
way.
me Nate. I'm good.
Well, awesome. Well, can you give us a little bit more about your background history and how you got into this area of entrepreneurship?
Well, I have two other businesses, and so I've been in sales for 26 years. So my goal was actually to teach. And so the concept of it, at this part of my life, I had a need that I wanted to educate other people. So I sat down and tried to figure out what I wanted to teach. Should I go back to school? And I realized I had a knack for teaching people how to actually sell since I've done it for a while. So a lot of people can do it, but to teach it is a different thing. So it's a gift.
Mm. Yeah. There's probably a difference between doing and teaching. So yeah, can you tell us more about 360 Sales Consulting, like what you do? And I guess it's more of a teaching program then, as far as teaching people.
No, it's 360 because it covers everything 360. So I've worked for million-dollar companies, multi-million-dollar companies, building sales teams, educating in sales, working with entrepreneurs one-on-one, because everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, but a lot of people don't know how to close. So selling is the first thing you should do when you should actually have that skill or that education when you go into business, because that's what it's all about. Nonprofit, profit, doesn't matter. You need to know how to move the product and how to explain it in a way that you can help your customers, because that's what sales is actually about. So it's a different language is what I tell people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you have a book, right, called Mastering of Closing the Sale. I believe. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Master the Art of Closing the Sale. Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, and it helps people to educate them based on a system, because every sales process is a process. So if you do not have a sales system, then most of the time you're just winging it. You're building based upon your personality, your enthusiasm about your product and all of this stuff. People don't care about that. It's how you actually communicate with them to figure out their needs. And if your product or service covers that in a way where you're not offending them, not being harassing, and, being able to help them in a process to understand, are you wasting their time? Not yours, theirs. Their time is more important than yours. So you take yourself out of the sales process, you'll start to educate on how you could best benefit them. Because most companies are more about me. We've been in business, we do this, we do that. People really don't care. I use the analogy of a refrigerator. You're going to go get a refrigerator. You don't care where you get it. It's a refrigerator. As long as it has a warranty, the price, and it works, that's basically what it is. You can go to Sears, you can go to Best Buy, you can go all these different places. It really doesn't matter where you get it. So, you could be in business for 50 years selling appliances. It really doesn't apply to me. I don't care. Does it work? Will it keep my food cold? So that's kind of some of the ways you have to change the mindset of people if they're not thoroughly educated in what a sale actually is.
Yeah, versus about the company and who you are and what you do and all that stuff, focusing more on the result, I guess, that they're going to get, that the client will get, how you can help them, but they're focusing, I guess, on the result and what's going to change for them versus all of your accolades and this, that, and the other, and reasons they should work with you and all that stuff.
Right. And people don't focus on that. They talk too much. Right. So if you don't have a proper sales process, times there's a number of things that you're doing. You're over anxious, you're depressed, you're not prepared, you're talking too much, you're not letting the client talk enough, you're not stopping, you're not pausing. All of these things come into place when you're having that communication. I think the best one of the best is like being interrogated by the police for a case. They sit you down, they go through a process of trying to figure out, and then they play with you mentally and all these other things. And then they sit you in there for hours to break you down. Right. And it's the same thing that you do for a client. Like, can I help you? And you need to do that in a certain manner. So in short, to help with a sales process is that you'll get a sale. If you're selling pet rocks, it doesn't matter. But the sales process is going to shorten the time between the sales.
And you talk about something called the 10-step sales process. Can you go into that a little bit?
Well, every sale has 10 steps, but not every company needs 10 steps. So in that process, if you understand what those steps actually are, and is it applicable for your business or service? Because sometimes I customize the sales process depending on the product or service, but there's 10 steps normally in it. So if you can understand those 10 steps, that when you're having that communication, knowing where you're at in your process is important, right? So there's 3 things you need to do in a sales process simultaneously. You need to know where you're at, you need to listen to the client, and you need to be calm. And you have to do all 3 of those things simultaneously as far as being watching the other person, listening for those different tones that's telling you that you're on the right path. So it takes practice, and a lot of people don't practice. So the difference I provide is that we do a lot of practicing, because this is just basically theory. Everything is theory, right? The programs that you get for $397 is theory, right? But you have to apply that. And the only way you can do it is by practicing.
So with the 10 steps, it's kind of like, it depends on the client where they're at in, I guess, their journey, as far as whether or not they work with you or not. And then you're able to determine like what of the 10 steps that you need to start with, I guess.
No, the 10 steps give you the qualification to realize. So where you're at in your process, like the first step is getting prepared, which means did you come into work on Monday hungover from Sunday? You're not ready to get ready for the nose if you're in a sales standpoint, right? You're not ready. So why do it? Why waste your leads? So some people don't think about that. So you're wasting sales right there. Number 2 is connecting and relating. Now, we're building some type of relationship where I can ask you difficult questions because I need to know those questions in order to help you. And if you feel offensive or off, don't have that connection, you're not going to answer those questions honestly. You might not answer them at all. And I'm not going to be able to go anywhere. Number 3 is qualification. Am I talking to the decision maker, the right person? Is there other people involved? If I don't get that, I'm not moving any further. Why should I repitch somebody or give the person the knowledge to try to pitch the other person? Like, yeah, go tell them this. And you're not a salesperson. They normally come back and say, the kiss of death is, we decided we moved into a different direction. Right? You heard that? Let's call it kiss of death. That means you messed up. You didn't tell them, and they don't have to tell you what you did wrong. So you go back into the next call, assuming and doing the same thing again and again and again and again. And then maybe months or years later, you get your resume ready to go back to work for somebody because you're tired. This is not working. Yeah. Yeah.
So like when you're on a sales call with someone, what do you recommend as far as kind of like the process, or maybe like an outline of or sequence of kind of how you should approach it?
Well, the steps is what you do, but I tell people the first thing is 80% of sales is confidence.
Okay.
And most people, we're, Generation X, what generation in? We don't automatically come out of college with confidence or anything of that nature. You have to have a willingness to fail. It's like dating. People complain, I can't find anybody. Are you dating? No. Well, you got to date to find somebody, right? So in sales, you got to go out and fail and figure out what you've done and improve that and actually keep getting improvement, because sales is just like anything else. You're either getting better or worse every day. There's no constant. There's no perfection. There's no such thing as a perfect pitch, right?
Mhm.
Always improvement. I've been in it for 26 years. I'm still learning things. So,
Mhm.
that's why people, oh, you're a guru. There's no such thing as a guru. It's just a constant learning process. I just know more than you.
Mhm. Yeah, and I've heard some people say, okay. So the assumption is to basically ask for the sale on the first call, but I've heard some people say that your goal of the first call is to get a second call and then maybe.
It depends on the process. This is why you customize depending on what do you do. Like real estate, that's not going to happen. Car sales is
True.
totally different. Door to door is different. Phone sales is kind of different, but it's all kind of the same thing. I've done all aspects of it, right? So some of
Mhm.
them are one call closes, like anything under $200, But if you're dealing with a $10,000 product, you're working with a CEO, CFO. There's a process there. So your main thing is not to waste their time, right? Because that process, like insurance, I used to work for a company that did insurance. They only open up for insurance once a year. You better be ready for that, right? And then the competition is fierce. I'm talking business insurance, like for health insurance for employees. That's big business. So you're not going to get that right off the bat. That's a process. So you have to understand that as well. The purpose of a sale, the big secret, is to get somebody to move.
Mhm.
So a sale is the billboard. Call now. On the website, click here.
Mhm.
Put your email in here. All these little things is the process to get somebody to do something, right? Get out your chair. Call now. 1-800, 1-800, 1-800. And you're like, oh, okay, I'll call. It's like getting them up to move. One of the things I used to say is we used to be in a business and you could hear the person tapping the credit card on the desk. You could hear it. I said, I can hear it. It's not going to help you unless you read it off. I know the first number starts with a 4. What's the second?
Mhm. So when setting up a sales call with someone,
Mm-hmm.
do you recommend having them fill out some sort of questionnaire type of thing prior to scheduling a sales call so you kind of have some kind of information going into it?
So you're looking for qualification, right?
Okay.
So I have a limousine company, so you can go in there and fill out a request for a quote. But you're giving
Mhm.
me all your information, which I'm also being able to understand where you're at, where you're from. How do I connect with you? Oh, your phone number tells me, oh, you're 303. So you're from Denver. Oh, yeah, Denver. I've been to Denver, right? So what you're looking for. So people calm down so I can ask the questions, right? So that's why a lot of people have that on their website. But the thing I tell people is that a lot of things that hurt people is technology. They're selling at arm's length. You
Mm.
want the computer to just do everything for you. Just click and buy, right? So I go to some business. I say, when the last time you got on the phone and talked to one of your clients?
Mm.
They might as well kill their kids. They don't want to do that. They don't know how.
Mm.
They're
Mm.
afraid. They rather just do an email campaign or a drip campaign. I'm like, pick this 3,000 pound object up and push some buttons and start actually talk to somebody.
Mhm.
No.
Mhm. And so when you're on a sales call and someone ends it with, "Well, I'll have to think about it," or
Mhm.
even, "I'll need to talk to my spouse," or whatever it is,
Right.
um, what what do you recommend? Like, should you I don't know, I've heard that you should try to be like, "Okay, well, when do you think you'll have a decision? Or when do you think you'll talk to so and so? Or
Mm.
could we go ahead and schedule another appointment?" Or whatever.
Mm. So in the beginning, I'll ask you, I said, are you the decision maker, Sarah? You'll tell me what?
Mm.
Yes, right? Then I'll ask
Mhm.
you a little bit down the road. I said, so who besides yourself is the decision maker in that process?
Mm.
All right. So I'm doing that in my process. So when I get towards the end and I said, okay, what credit card are you ready to move forward, Sarah? And you tell me, I got to go talk to who? Right.
Mm.
And I go, wait a minute. You told me, right? Right. I'm building a case. You told me
Mm.
you're the decision maker, right? And you also
Mhm.
told me you needed this product, right? So what
Mm.
card you want to put it on? Because I know you're giving me fluff.
Mm. Yeah, they're just trying to, I guess, either buy time or.
And I'll say to you direct because it's confidence. Sarah, you know you need this product because based upon what we talked about, everything that you needed, right? What's holding us back?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So my close is I know enough about you. I know where you live. We talked. We've been on the phone. You've gone through my process. I'm only going to close you is because you confirmed that you needed this product. We talked enough. I'm not assuming anything. I know you're doing it based upon your natural instinct not to lay down easy. And I understand that. But based upon the needs of the product that we talked about, you wanted this, right? You really needed this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what card you want to put it on? Stop playing with me.
So then, yeah, if you get to that point and they're still objecting.
Oh, I love it. You when you learn sales, you want the objections because that gets you closer to the sale because you confirm use, need, use, affordability, and decision making. So once I get all of those down, there's no reason why you can afford it. Because in one of my steps, if I'm comfortable enough, I'm actually going to qualify you based upon the price. And I'll say, so if I had a solution for that, and we're talking somewhere around about $400, is there anything holding us back from moving forward with this today? Now, I didn't even tell you about my solution yet. And you go, 400? Yeah, that seems reasonable. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you how we do that. And if we can do that, that's affordable for you? Yes. Okay, let me tell you what I have. So then when I get toward the end, you got to think about, well, you got to think about, you got to think about this. You don't have to think about this. You already told me you can afford it, right? Right. So what card you putting on? I'm not going, hey, you want it? Then wait for the client to close. You kind of like that? What do you want to do next? Like, could you please close yourself?
So let's say the call ends without the sale. Mm-hmm. Then what do you recommend, like a follow-up method of some sort?
Where did I mess up, right? If I got all the way down to the 10 steps to close and I didn't close you, and most of the time, salespeople, you have to be critical of yourself. So I get off the phone going, which one of the 10 steps did I mess up on? Mm-hmm. So most of the time, it's not about the client, it's about you. You're the reason they didn't get the sale. Mm-hmm. So when you start pointing fingers, that means there's a problem. Oh, they wasn't qualified. Oh, they wasn't ready. And I tell you, I come up to you and Sarah, why didn't you get the sale? You're like, oh, well, they're just not ready yet. She needs to talk to the wife. I'm like, you didn't qualify. Mm-hmm. You didn't know about the wife before you asked for the money, right? Mm-hmm. So in the steps is to alleviate the pain of knowing that you messed up. All you have to do is reinvest into the steps, and then you understand, oh, I didn't qualify. Dang it. You know, we're humans, right? So you have a system that's telling you how to improve it, rather than just going out there going, I'm a people person and I sell my butt off.
Mm-hmm. So then would you still follow up with, like, if they don't give you a no, a yes or a no, and it's more like, I need to talk to so-and-so, or I need to do this, that, and the other thing, or I need time to think about it, or whatever, do you follow up by email? And oh, no.
Pick up this 3,000-pound object that people don't like to, and actually pick it up and call them. We're people. You send them an email. Get on the phone with them. Mm-hmm. And people don't want to do that. And that's why these businesses aren't, I say, is your business valid? If you don't have a sales process, you're in a grandiose hobby. Mm-hmm. If you have
how often, mm-hmm. How often should you follow up then?
All the time.
Like at least once a week or more than that?
It depends on your product or service, what you're selling. That's why I say it's a difference depending on what you're selling and what you're offering. Massage therapy is different than automobile sales, but it's all sales, right? You have a database of people. Your next client is normally your best client is the one you just sold. Mm-hmm. Even people you haven't sold is sometimes could be your best client. I've worked with people didn't sell them and asked because the key point of the sale's not done until the end. It says right here, game-changing 10-step process for getting more clients and referrals. So there's businesses out there, if you have a valid business, that don't need to advertise or market because what? They ask for referrals. That's what network marketing is, right? You don't see them advertising. It's all through word of mouth. Sarah, what you doing on Tuesday? I'm having this meeting at my house. How many times you heard that?
Yeah.
You would be great. You like soap, right?
Oh, man.
You got the whiteboard in the middle of the living room with the chairs. You're like, what's going on? We got a drink over there.
Oh, man.
Right? You're
Right.
being sold.
Exactly.
You're being sold to sell for them. Right?
Mm-hmm. Right. So what are the other two companies that you have? You'd mentioned you have what, 3 companies? I'm just kind of curious what
Well, I
you
have a
do.
limousine company I've had for 12 years.
Ah. Oh, okay.
And then one of my clients I work with part-time to help her. She does book sales. Like you come to her with a manuscript and a title, and they do all the work for you. And so, I taught her how to sell, and she did great. She made 6 figures. And you did a good job because they come back and ask you, can you come back? Can you work for us? And I normally go, no, but it was such a good company, and it wasn't a lot of my time that I help her out by making some phone calls. So it's not really a sale on that point, is what not to do. But there's different levels of sales and who you sell to. Like the most difficult 2 people to sell, the hardest people to sell, the top 3 is a car salesman. So if you're selling like advertisement to auto dealerships, very tough. Doctors, because doctors don't like to make decisions, business decisions. They have an office manager. They make medical decisions. They're not business minded. They're doctors, right? And then the third one is lawyers, because lawyers get too analytical. They'll get the paperwork. They'll read it. What does this mean? Like it holds up the sale. Like they get too critical about stuff. So those are the 3 hardest people to sell in the country.
Oh, wow.
So medical sales, right? Talk to doctors, selling stuff to lawyers, advertising to lawyers, and then in car dealerships, because they're like the ultimate salespeople, right? So trying to sell somebody that sells cars, you better have your game tight, because they have theirs tight, right? So you better know what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, cool. And you have a free guide at 360salesconsulting.com, free guide. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, the guide gives you a breakdown on the 10 steps, like a planogram of what it is. And so each one of those points, when I work with students, some of my students, it takes them about a month after about 4 or 5 sessions to start understanding the concept of what I'm talking about in a sales process. You can read it, but what does it mean? And can you do it? So the guide gives you the definition of each step as you go along. So like I could take the 10 steps and do a semester in college with it and break each one of them down, because that's how critical each step of it is. So that's why I say sales is a skill. If you know how to sell, you're never out of a job, right? If you're married, you're in sales. If you have children, you're in sales. But in the Western Hemisphere, we have been taught to go out, go to college, and go get a job and earn what you want. You have to earn it, right? In Western, so everything has a price on it. People that come from other countries, third world countries, negotiate. Indian people, Jewish people, always negotiate, right? They've been taught that. So we don't teach our children that. So when you go to college and then you open up your business, your muscle for selling has atrophied, because when you were a child, you could sell because you asked for everything. I want. That's closing, right? And what do we tell children? Don't do that. Don't ask so many times. Stop. You ask one time and I'm done. But it's a close. I want. So children are one of the best salespeople in the United States because they close. They ask. They don't care about you. They don't care about what is in it for you. They just want. I want until they wear you down. So even children can outsell adults, because then I go to you and say, just keep asking for the sale. Like, I don't know. I don't think I can do that, But as a child, that's why Girl Scout cookies are great. Hey, sir. Hey, sir. Hey, sir. Hey, sir. Hey, sir. Hey, sir. Right?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. I've noticed that kids are definitely more persistent with
Right.
whatever they're trying to get.
Right. They don't know the comfort zone. So as you get older, you go through all these failures in your life. You go to college, you become modest. You don't communicate with people well. You just try to stay in your lane. You go to work for somebody, then they start this company. Oh, I got this company. I'm a startup, and they get the website, they get the business cards, they got the account, they get all the Instagram. They start moving this, and I go, okay, sell me your product. Okay, so what I'm selling is um so what it does is, and I'm like, am I qualified? Do you know? So do you, like, oh my goodness. And you have a business, but you can't sell your product. You're relying on technology, right? So I came into the game before we had all this stuff. Actually, when they gave us computers, we were pissed off because it slowed us down.
Oh, wow.
Because everything was, I was doing like 150. I did all kind of sales, but one of them I was doing about 125 to 150 dials a day. Just boom.
Wow.
No computers, just a notepad.
Mm.
See, people don't even know about them days.
Right. Oh, well, awesome. Well, I've learned a lot, and I think I'm going to download that guide myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, but people can go to 360, that's 360,
Mm-hmm.
salesconsulting.com/free guide. I'll also
Mm-hmm.
have show notes at thesarahstjohn.com/Ben Brown. Well, awesome. Was there anything else that you wanted to touch on that we hadn't yet?
The thing I tell people is that only sell a product if you like it or love it. If you don't like it or love it, leave it.
That's good.
It shows.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. Well, cool. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.